Hello there. It's James Arnold Taylor, the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Johnny Test, Fred Flintstone, and one of my personal favorites, Leonardo. And you are listening to Epic Tales from the Sewer. It's totally awesome. Turtle power. Go, go, go.
Welcome to the Epic Tales from the Sewers podcast. Grab yourself a slice, strap into the party wagon, and hang on tight. Give it up for your host, the totally radical, if slightly mutated, Justin.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Archie Adventures, issue number 23, Search and Destroy. Script by Dean Clarraine. Pencils by Chris Allen. Inks by Brian Thomas and letters by Gary Fields. We start out in the sewer. There's some building materials, bricks, cement, mortar, and of course pizza. 4 turtles sit in a hot tub while April looks on. Raph says, "Donatello, you're a genius." "Yeah, dude, this heated sewer hot tub is just way too cool." "Thanks, bros. I got the idea while watching last night's episode of This Old Sewer." "Hey, April, aren't you coming in?" says the 4 turtles in their hot tub. April responds, "Into heated sewer water? I don't think so." "You don't know what you're missing, April." "I don't think I want to. You guys go ahead and enjoy it. I'll hang back and keep guard." "Sounds like a plan," as they sit enjoying their heated sewer hot tub. "Man, it feels good to be back in the sewers again," says Raph. "You can say that again, bro. Say, Raph, you never told us how you returned to New York after defeating Maligna," asks Leo. "Getting back was easy thanks to that flying meatball Cuddly the Cowlick. The hard part was saying goodbye to Mondo Gecko, Dreadman, and the others. I miss them. They're a pretty wild bunch." "So Gecko decided not to come back? That's cool, I guess. So what are they all gonna do, Raph?" "I don't know. They were talking about staying together, about forming some kind of group. They seem kind of unfocused without the threat of Maligna to fight against." "And is Maligna really out of the picture?" asked Leo. "I'd say so, but you never really know. At least now for now, they sent her warrior children packing," the turtles discuss. We could see now a galaxy, a planet, and then Krang alone on a toxic waste barrel in the middle of a green river of ooze. "Won't someone please help me?" As he's sinking, we can see it sinking into the green ooze. "I think I've reached the end. I hold all to that witch Cherune. If only I had found the turnstone instead of her, it would be she who'd be sinking into this toxic sea instead of me. If only I had won." As he grips onto the top of the barrel as it sinks into the green. "If only I had allied myself with someone more powerful and less egotistical than the Shredder, that fool of fools. And to be defeated by turtles, of all living things. There's no greater dishonor than to defeat by someone more primitive than oneself," says the brain. "If I ever lay my eyes on another turtle," as he almost splooshes into the water, we could see a silhouette of what kind of looks like a mutant turtle holding a curved knife. "Palm tree." Now, back to the sewers, a silhouette in the distance. April looks on. "Guys, someone's coming." She draws her katana. "Master Splinter." "April, it is time." Turtles look on. "Bummer." "Yeah, at least now we won't turn into total prunes." "What's the plan, Master?" as they ask. "The plan is most simple. It is time for April to continue her study of ninjutsu. And the time is for the 4 of you to patrol the sewers rather than bathe in them," he says with a concerned look on his face. It concerns me greatly knowing the Shredder is free. I think we should confront and stop him before he carries out his next evil plan. Cool. We attack him before he attacks us. I like it, says Raph. It pleases me that you do, Raphael. I only hope that you'll work with your brothers instead of on your own. Yes, Master, I'll try, as they say, putting on their bandanas and their belts. I guess we're out of here. Where to, dudes? Let's head over to Chinatown to see what the word on the street is. Sounds like another plan. Race you to the next manhole, Raph. You're on. As they race off into the sewers. They're so funny, says April. Boys will be boys, and turtles will be turtles. So, you did it very well assuming this defensive stance upon my approach. Had I been an approaching enemy, or an individual of unknown status, a true ninja would turn swift and critical eye upon me, evaluating my strengths and weaknesses, my potential threat above all, Splinter says to April, as they sit on the ground talking. My potential threat above all, my intelligence. Back on the toxic waste planet. Palm tree? Krang says. Looking on, we could see that the back shell of a green turtle-like creature. Palm tree. My palm tree. Gone. Paradise lost. Kill to regain. Blood spills. Gore thrills. Clarion carcass corpse. Vultures circle for a taste. Butchery at my hands. I want my palm tree. Help or die, Pinky. As he looks on, we can see this is the first full view of Slash, who is just like the Ninja Turtles, only bigger and meaner. I know of a world full of palm trees, my friend. A world full of palm trees? Maybe even my palm tree? Says a confused Slash. Certainly, friend, says Krang, manipulating Slash. I will lead you to this world of palm trees if you'll rescue me from this sinking barrel. Then we have a deal, Pinky, he says, swiping him up with a grab. We can see his gauntleted hand barely escapes from hitting Krang, who's surprised, and then clings to the back of his shell. The name's Krang. Slash. The vultures named me Slash. Slash, how did you get here in this Mobius, the toxic waste dump world? I didn't think any living creatures were allowed here. I was sentenced here for my crimes. Mobius is a prison planet. I didn't know that. So does that mean there are others like ourselves on Mobius? Yes. If one can survive the toxicity, Mobius is one home to killers, berserkers, massacres, man-eaters, brain poachers, soul thieves, oil company executives, and lawyers. How did you get here? Spaceships. Why do you ask so many questions? Oh, just thinking. As they walk through this burning, desolate, toxic wasteland. Back to the sewers, we see the turtles. Leo asks, I was thinking. I guess there's a first time for everything. Real funny, Raph. I was just thinking how unlike the Master to be so confrontational. You mean 'cause he sent us out looking for Shredder? Well, maybe he's just tired of the dude, Leo. Maybe he just wants to put him away once and for all. Yeah, maybe he has more confidence in us, Raphael, than he did. We did pretty well against Shredder last time out, so maybe the Master thinks all of us together can. Maybe we ought to take a break and grab some pizza. Maybe we ought to pipe down 'cause someone's coming. They hear some voices in the sewer. This is the place. And the time? 5 minutes to showtime. Time to set up the bazooka. The turtles look unconcerned. It's a group of some people with guns. They're taking something out of a bag underneath the manhole. Now, back to the planet Mobius, the prison planet. We see Krang sitting on the back of Slash. Look, a spaceship! The prison ship! Like the one that brought me here. Like the one that took my palm tree. Easy, Slash. We'll get your palm tree back all in good time. But for right now, let's get a bit closer to that ship and see what we can learn. As a white spaceship kind of descends down, creating dust as it falls. Some magenta-colored aliens come out with big black eyes, and they're reading a sentence as they pull a prisoner out on chains. Come along, Bellybomb. Just a quick reading of your convictions and we'll be out of your face. Bellybomb, alias Smiley, alias Brack Curmudgeon, you have been found guilty of the following crimes against the universe: extortion, armed robbery, hijacking, kidnapping, torture, murder, man-eating, brain-poaching, soul thievery, and impersonating a primitive deity named Bob. Any last words before your 17 concurrent life sentences begin? As they tug on the chain, we can see his silhouette. And then we see this creature. One giant eye, 2 horns. He has a blue eye, and his mouth is in his belly with some jagged teeth.
You neglected to mention my unpaid parking tickets.
I like the sound of this creature, says Krang as he looks on. Now, back to the sewers. We can see that these gentlemen are looking to plan some sort of heist as they finger their guns right before they do something. I don't like the sound of this, says Leo. No kidding, says Raph. 2 minutes, says one of the gentlemen. No sweat, bazooka's almost ready to go, says one, points it upwards. 1 minute, I hear you, I'm ready. As soon as that armored car parks over his head, this baby will rip the bottom right open. I've heard enough. Let's hit him, now! Leo says, jumping into action. We can see the turtles ready with their weapons drawn behind them. What the? Go for the guns, brothers! Uh-oh. Hi, says Donatello, knocking one with the bazooka over with his staff, hits him on the side of the face. All of a sudden, it goes off with a boom, and there's an explosion. Now, a distraction. What the? The aliens look on as a canister of toxic waste hits their spaceship. Into the action jumps Slash, and we just see a slashing motion. So it looks like he cut apart that prison guard.
Cold steel meets hot flesh. That's why they call me Slash. Impressive. How about applying that skill to these chains, says Bellybomb.
And then with a swoosh, he cuts him free.
Much obliged. There are several more guards aboard the ship. Let's rush them,
he says, taking all of them as they take shots as they're going back onto the ship to try to escape. We see Bellybomb actually has eyeballs on his palms of his hands, too. As now Slash and Bellybomb rush the ship. Krang sits back and watches. Not much that he could do.
Excellent. Those two will make very formidable allies. The plots and schemes running through my mind are endless. I can almost taste the power and glory that will be mine. Then the revenge. Revenge upon my enemies. Cherubic and loathsome turtles. Perhaps even the fool Shredder for thinking that he so often failed me. Oh, I really ought to get a new body first,
says Krang as he crawls out from underneath where he was hiding. Now, the turtles after the explosion back in the sewer. Man, my body feels like it's been hit by a ton of bricks. That's because it was, says Donnie to Raph. Now, one of them has the drop on him with a gun. That ain't gonna be the worst of it. I don't know what or who you are, but you better not move. You better put down your weapons. Like this, says Mikey, throwing his nunchucks to knock the gun out of his hands. One of them gets a little squirrely and starts shooting. Swiss cheese time! Leo's right behind him. Watch it there, pal. Because I'm sick and tired of fighting cowards who hide behind guns. Deflecting 3 or 4 of the bullets with one of his swords, jumps in, kicks him underneath his chin with a jump kick. Understand? He falls down with a thump, unconscious. I bet he does, says Raph. This place is totally trashed, says Mikey. Yes, but at least the road over ahead didn't cave in, says Donatello. Let's gather up these guns. I'll tie up the bad boys, says Raph. So, what do we do now? Says Mikey. Call the cops, dump these guns, grab some za, says Leo. Now, back to Slash and Bellybomb, who have taken out all of the guards.
Now what? Now we have our freedom. Let's exercise it by flying this ship out of here. Consider it done. Grab some seats, gentlemen. Who? Or I should say what? Pinky. Krang, Warlord Krang. I've heard a lot about you, Bellybomb. And I have of you, Krang. Let us fly far from here quickly before more lawmen arrive. Fly us to a place where we can wreak havoc and have a good time doing it,
Slash says,
with palm trees.
Now Krang sitting in the seat, just guiding the ship up. We can see the ship taking off, and in its wake they've dumped off the bodies of the guards. Takes off in a big puff of smoke, and then off-world we can see it And Krang says,
I know just the place.
next issue, Gimme Danger.
This is Jeremy Howard, Donatello from the Michael Bay TMNT films, and you are listening to Justin on Epic Tales from the Sewers.
It's pizza time.
And now, in a segment that we call Pizza Time, where we discuss any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle or pizza-related food, I give you Pizza Time. And now, for your pizza recipe of the day, sausage pizza with arugula and grapes. Active about 30 minutes, serves 4. Ingredients, 4 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil, 1 pound pizza dough at room temperature, 1/2 cup ricotta cheese, kosher salt and freshly ground black pepper, 2 ounces of Gorgonzola cheese, rind removed, cut into 1/4 inch pieces, 2/3 cup of red seedless grapes, halved, 2 links of hot Italian sausage, about 6 ounces, cases removed, broken into marble-sized pieces, 1 small shallot sliced thin and separated into rings, 1 tablespoon of honey, and 1 cup of baby arugula. Step 1. Put the pizza stone or inverted baking sheet onto the lowest rack of the oven and preheat to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Place a piece of parchment paper on the other inverted baking sheet and brush with about 2 teaspoons of olive oil. Stretch and lightly pat the dough for the pizza into a 10 by 14 inch rectangle on the parchment. Prick the dough with a fork everywhere but the edges. Brush the remaining 2 teaspoons of olive oil. Slide the dough onto the parchment paper onto the hot stove and bake until lightly browned on the bottom, about 8 minutes. Step 2. Season the ricotta cheese with the 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a few grinds of black pepper. Remove the crust from the oven and spread the ricotta on top. Sprinkle with thyme and top with the Gorgonzola, grapes, and sausage. Slide back onto the hot stove and continue baking until the sausage is cooked through and the crust is golden, about 10 minutes. Remove from the oven, immediately scatter the shallot rings on top, drizzle with honey, and top with arugula. Pro tips: be sure to break the sausage into small pieces so they cook thorough in the oven. Ricotta is a rich and creamy cheese, but it can be a bit bland. Season it with salt and pepper to bring out the flavor. Shallots are milder and slightly sweeter than regular onions. They make for a great raw pizza topping. And that's our recipe for today, sausage pizza with arugula and grapes.
Cowabunga, dudes!
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures, issue number 24. Script by Dean Clarrain. Pencils by Garrett Ho and Jim Lawson. Inks by Brian Thomas and Rod Olenshaw. Gimme Danger. Somewhere in Dimension X, in a spaceship flying back from Mobius, the prison planet.
Are we there yet, Pinky? I told you before, Slash, the name is Krang. And no, we are not there yet. In fact, ever since the ship's autopilot kicked in after takeoff, I haven't a clue as to where the preset course is taking us. All I know is it has something to do with dropping off the ship's cargo. It's living cargo.
Living, eh? Well, I don't know about you two, but I could go for some chow. Catch my drift?
Says Bellybomb, who's flossing his teeth with a strand of barbed wire.
Yeah, Bellybomb, sure. Hey, we could have shifted course when we're headed for that planet down there.
Planet, Pinky? Do you see any palm trees?
Asked Slash.
No palm trees. It looks dry, like a savanna of lots of mammals. And birds, but no sign of technology or civilization. I wonder if this could be one of the Eden worlds.
Eden worlds?
Asked Slash.
One of the planets set aside by the elder races. Planets devoted to nature, where beings like ourselves aren't allowed to live,
says Bellybomb.
but creatures like our living cargo are.
As the living cargo seems to be some antelope that have been let out. Now, onto the savannah planet, we see Bellybomb with a rifle, Krang, just rooted on the back of Slash as they walk out.
Say, fellas, up for a little hunting? Hunting? What about my palm tree?
Yes, perhaps we ought to stick to our plan and head to Earth before the authorities notice the ship is missing.
Did you guys mention the planet Oith?
Huh? Unbelievable!
Bebop and Rocksteady show up, wearing nothing but a fig leaf over their unmentionables.
Mr. Krang, of all the untold planets in this dimension, we have to stop on one with Bebop and Rocksteady?
Can we catch a ride with yous?
Slash looks over and hands Krang to Bebop, holding him upside down.
Good, then you carry Pinky for a while.
Blast it!
You's kinda cold and clammy there, Mr. Krang. Spare me your brilliant insights, oafish one. I'll watch where you stick those horns. Tell me, is this the planet Cheruba sent you to before she banished me to Mobius? Yeah, this is the paradise, except there ain't no crime. There ain't nothing to do here. That's why we wants to go home, you see? Plain as the nose on my face. Time for crime, then. For Earth. For a bit of revenge as well. Palm tree. Don't forget my palm tree, Pinky.
Now, we show the Shredder, who is gently pruning a bonsai tree with his mask off, so you could actually see his face as he speaks.
If only my enemies could be as pruned as easily as this bonsai tree. But the art of revenge is not always so neat, nor so subtle. Sometimes one must resort to the most flagrant of acts. Much as I did when I activated my giant foot super soldier in Chinatown, hoping to drown out those loathsome turtles, which it did.
As he looks onto a big map of Manhattan.
The appearance of the warrior dragon was unexpected, though remarkable. Nevertheless, once sighted, it was an easy matter of tracking the turtles, and for that moment, an opportunity to strike.
As we could see a flashback to issue 21.
I'd worry about yourselves, fools.
It's the Shredder taking on Splinter and Michelangelo with some of his robotic foot soldiers.
Shredder, the geek?
April says, "Oh my gosh, Donatello!"
Donatello is right here, Miss O'Neill, stored on this computer disk. Don't worry, he'll be safe with me.
Donatello!
With Donatello in my grasp, it was easy to lure others into my trap.
He had Donatello downloaded from the disk, see issue 21.
I had the old fool's life in my hands, as I had almost won.
As he had Splinter on a giant rat trap as well.
Except for the sudden intervention of one turtle who had been missing.
We see when he gets smacked unconscious by Raphael, punches him.
Judging by the scenic route we've taken, I say we're getting close to one of his bases. One that we weren't stumbled upon before. Seems Shredder's really into littering, eh, bros?
Big time. Just don't touch anything. You never know, some of these might contain mutagenic residue as well.
Definitely, says Raphael. We're really close. I say we practice the art of invisibility. Sounds like a plan, says Mikey.
They jump in as they start looking and noticing some traps, laser beams that are tripwires to alert them. They crawl through them gently. Then Raphael uses his sai to poke through a door so he can unlock it, one that's a danger. Now, back to Rocksteady and Bebop, Slash, Bellybomb, and Krang.
What is it, Pinky?
Nothing. I'm slowing down because we've entered the Earth's solar system. Now stop calling me Pinky.
Hey, Krang, any place to stop for a bite to eat before reaching Earth?
Sorry, Bellybomb, but Earth's the only inhabitant in this section of the Milky Way galaxy. Although there have been rumors of beings long ago lived on Mars, but who knows? Maybe they still do. Maybe they've just moved underground where the Earthlings can't see them. Martians?
A parrot has tagged along with Rocksteady. He's hanging out on him.
That would mean that the aliens really do exist.
Slash, Krang, and Bellybomb look on. Back to the Shredder.
A single blossom beginning to emerge. How appropriate. What better way to symbolize my approaching victory?
Shredder looks down alerted. He's got a large spear that has a serrated edge in his hand.
Show yourselves, fools.
The turtles bust in through the door.
So much for the element of surprise.
Forget surprise. Everyone into defensive positions now, says Leo.
Defensive? You attack a man in his own domain and adopt defensive postures? Has the old fool not taught you the skills of the warrior, nor the art of offense? Watch and learn as I present to you most offensive lesson, fool,
says the Shredder. Now, back to the spaceship.
There it is, gentlemen. Earth.
Back to Shredder, who is fighting all four of the turtles at once with his serrated blade.
Hey!
And this is its greatest city, New York.
I don't see any palm trees, Pinky,
says Slash. Now Leonardo tangles with the Shredder as he blocks his spear.
You are no match for a true ninja, let alone a man, freak.
Yeah, well, at least I don't hide my face behind a mask, geek.
I want it. I want my palm tree,
says Slash, as we see now into New York. Slash is starting to wig out a little bit.
Take it easy, Slash, easy. We'll get you a palm tree in a moment. I just have to take a small detour to make...
Leo! As Leo gets knocked down by Shredder with a swipe.
Which one of you repellent reptiles is next? Ha 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 ha!
And then we see, going for kind of an upward swoop motion.
One small detour.
And then the spaceship crashes into headquarters for Shredder, knocking everybody out.
What the?
Says Shredder. Nobody expects it. Michelangelo and Donatello dive out of the way as Leo reaches for his sword with a smash. The alien spacecraft crashes into the headquarters. Then, in the rubble, we can see,
now what?
don't you mean who?
No, I mean what?
Standing in their fig leaves, Bebop and Rocksteady. Then with Bellybomb and Slash all looking on
Use turtles. Long time no fight.
Greetings, says Bellybomb.
Prepare to die, turtles,
says Slash. You're a turtle? asks Leo.
But I thought we were the only mutant turtles,
says Michelangelo. Guess not, but he's not like us. He's like a snapper.
He's bad,
says Raph.
Bad to the bone. The vultures gave me a name. They called me Slash. Get the point?
As he takes a swing at Raphael with his gauntleted hand.
Yeah, now get this,
as he kicks him back in the stomach.
For that, you'll die, cousin,
says Slash as he takes on Raphael. As they start fighting.
Cousin? I doubt it. You got way too many ugly genes to be related to me, dude.
Now, into the spaceship, we see Shredder has gotten up and he slunk away.
I don't know how Bebop and Rocksteady hooked up with those two creatures, but I won't complain, not since they're fighting my battle for me.
As we see just over the doorway, Krang is lurking there.
Perhaps some alien weaponry or technology within his ship that I can borrow, so to claim victory over them all.
Now, back to fighting Bebop and Rocksteady. They've picked up some steel girders and wood pieces.
Nice costumes, fellas. Kind of breezy, though, I bet. Gee, Bebop, Michelangelo is right. We're practically naked.
Maybe you ought to cut out of here and do some clothes shopping.
Distracted, the idiots they are, as they get hit on the head by Donatello and Michelangelo with their bow and nunchucks from behind. Maybe you ought to pick up some brains while you're out, says Donatello.
Gee, who would have thought these guys would be so fashion conscious? Or should I say, unconscious?
Krang takes this opportunity to drop down onto a distracted Shredder.
Long time no see, Saki.
Krang, somehow I knew you were behind this.
Now, Raph fighting Slash, Leo hits his gauntlet with his sword. Duck, Raph, I got him!
Till death do us part, little cousins.
Woof, says Raph as he ducks underneath. Apparently, Slash is just swiping with these gauntlets, really strong attacks.
So, it's good of you to drop in and help against the turtles, Krang. But we have always been stronger together than apart.
Krang is now holding on to him, kind of just reaching over and grabbing onto his neck so he can stay on his shoulder.
That we have, Saki, that we have. In fact, it's the sense of togetherness that has brought me here.
Now, Donatello and Michelangelo look on as Raph and Leo are fighting Slash and Bebop and Rocksteady take off.
I can't believe those two noodle noses are running away.
I'm not surprised. They seem different this time around. But forget them, Mikey. It looks like our brothers could use a hand against our cousin.
Bellybomb, if you would, please.
1 dose of mega halitosis coming up.
Bellybomb lets out a rank breath that has a nasty smell that knocks the Shredder unconscious.
Oh.
Wheels him over to an operating table. Now, Slash is fighting all 4 turtles at once.
4 on 1, eh? No matter the odds are still in my favor. Wrong. The only odds in your favor are the odds that we're gonna kick your tail.
Has anyone seen the Shredder or that Jaws dude disappeared to?
Now, Bellybomb, getting ready for a medical operation, puts on some gloves.
Perhaps I should borrow Slash's blade?
That won't be necessary. It's not that I need to cut or prune so much as I need to reshape and cast anew.
As we see Krang attaching himself on top of the Shredder's head.
Like so.
Now, the Shredder stands up, his body only, his head being completely covered by Krang, who is now looking on with a toothy grin.
Good to see that you finally got your head on straight,
says Bellybomb, as we see an image of the bloom from the bonsai. Next issue, Raw Power. Thank you for listening to the Epic Tales from the Sewers podcast. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. This podcast has no affiliation with Eastman, Laird, Mirage Studios, IDW Studios, Archie Comics, Nickelodeon Studios, or Paramount. This podcast is a part of the Dorkening Podcast Network and the Collector's Maze Network, and is sponsored in part by Deadly Grounds Coffee, coffee to die for. Check out our other shows on thedorkening.com and thecollectorsmazenetwork.com. Epic Tales from the Sewers is recorded by Justin Cooper. Be sure to check out some of our other amazing shows on the Dorkening, like Splash Pages, Retro Redoctopus, Comics Paradox, The Dork Knight, Bear at Night Podcast, The Old Man Wade Show, Hooked on Movies, Token with the Dead, and The Wicked Horror Show. And check out the amazing shows on the Collector's Maze Network, The Creature Designer, Glyph Keepers, Cost for Hope, Road Tripvia, Realmcast, Eat, Drink, and Game, Floor Access, Scooby Addicts, A Cartridge and a Quest, Nerdless Miniatures, Welsh Wizarding Collector, and House of Geekery.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. We have very active lifestyles. It's not all wandering the countryside aimlessly or scaring passing motorists. And we all love a good cup of joe. And there's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. Bold, robust, delicious. It's coffee that can wake the dead. With over a dozen different roasts and flavors, Deadly Grounds can satisfy the most finicky of coffee addicts. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Greetings and shabibans. We are the Retro Redoctopus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all of the things that made growing up awesome.
Yeah, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite seems trying to say is that on Retro Redoctopus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh.
And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Dorking Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brig.
You can listen to Retro Redoctopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.